Welcome back to Movie Moshow. Today we are going to review the crime thriller film, Revolver. If you enjoy our content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. We upload multiple times daily. Jake Green, Jason Statham, a Cockney mobster and gambler who spent 7 years in solitary confinement for an unclear crime, is freed from prison in an unnamed city. Jake acquired claustrophobia as a result, which causes him to feel extremely uneasy in enclosed areas and to detest using elevators. 2 years later, Dorothy Macha, Ray Liotta, a gang leader who engages in illicit gambling around the city, invites Jake and his brother Billy, Andrew Howard, to a casino that she owns. Green was given the command to commit the crime that earned him a prison sentence by Macha. Billy is hesitant, but the brothers are there to get the money Green thinks the mobster owes them. Macha summons them right away to a high rollers game that is going on in a private part of his casino. Jake loses a large wager on a chip throw with another player at the table. He makes the same wager with Macha and tricks him into believing he is secure, and this time he triumphs. Macha is so humiliated that he instructs his right-hand guy, Paul, Terrence Maynard, to kill Jake. A man, Vincent Pastore, tosses Jake a card and says he can help him as Jake and his brothers are leaving the casino. Jake must use the stairs because of his anxiety. Jake stares at the card in the stairway before passing out and going down the steps. Take the elevator appears on the card when it is revealed. Jake is taken emergency room style. Although the doctors claim they don't know why he passed out, they assure him they will know in a few days. Later, without Billy, Jake makes it home, where Macha's killer sorter, Mark Strong, is waiting for him. There is another card with the message "Pick this up" on his porch. A bullet flies over Jake's back as he stoopingly reaches for the card. The same enigmatic character, a loan shark by the name of Zach, shows up while the shooting goes on and saves Jake, the lone survivor of the attack. Avi, Andre Benjamin, Zach's colleague, is introduced to Jake. They make him a deal: they will take all of his money in exchange for his unconditional compliance with their instructions. They will defend Jake from Macha in return. They present Jake with his medical records, which they strangely acquired, as part of their proposition. It suggests that a rare blood condition that will kill him in 3 days is what caused the blackout. Jake departs because he believes he is being duped. He receives the same prognosis and is informed that he has 3 days to live later on during a visit to the doctor. Jake accepts Avi and Zach's conditions and returns to their pool hall with a bag of cash. The unknown individuals ask Jake about his time in prison before revealing that his money will be used to support their money lending business. Jake reveals that given the option, he decided to serve 7 years in solitary confinement rather than the 14 years in the general prison population. Jake discovers a particular technique known as the formula during his time spent in solitary confinement that is intended to enable its practitioner to win every game. 2 anonymous males who lived in adjacent cells on either side of Jake's own cell found the formula itself. They are referred to as a con guy and a chess genius. The 3 guys communicate their ideas on chess moves and confidence techniques during the course of the first 5 years of his 7-year sentence using messages tucked away in library books like the mathematics of quantum mechanics. Both the chess pro and the con artist intend to escape from prison at the same time, promising to take Jake with them. Jake, however, is left behind to complete the final 2 years of his sentence when they leave his cell. When Jake is freed, he discovers that the 2 guys with whom he had shared everything have taken all of his belongings and money. Disappointed, he attempts to win at different casinos using the formula. As a result of Jake's reputation, numerous casinos have blacklisted him because they are afraid of his abnormally good luck. Any game may be won using the formula, which is frequently demonstrated by Jake's apparent chess prowess. In the meantime, Macha arranges a cocaine trade with Lily Walker, Francesca Annis, Sam Gold's counselor and the alleged ultimate figure to which all other underworld figures aspire. Walker underlines that he hates publicity and cautions Macha that Sam Gold is not someone to be delayed. Jake joins Avi and Zach as they rob a vault containing cocaine stolen from Macha's casino. Macha sends Paul to ask his opponent, Triad Kingpin Lord John, Tom Wu, to give him replacement cocaine at an exorbitant price because he is desperate because he is now owing to Gold. Lord John turns down a contract with his adversary in a disrespectful manner. After robbing John for millions of dollars, Jake, Zach, and Avi accuse Macha of the robbery. Lord John, who is enraged, sends a hitwoman posing as a server to his restaurant to kill Macha. Sorter shoots the killer, but she just sustains injuries. Then, while her getaway driver tries to escape in a car, he moves outside and murders him. Macha fights with the hitwoman inside, and she shoots off his finger in the process. Macha fires the assassin with his bodyguard's pistol in a fit of wrath. In response, Macha orders Sorter to assassinate Lord John and then dispatches Paul and his goons to question John's triad in order to locate the cocaine that was taken. Even when Paul tortures the Chinese criminals to death, they still accuse Jake of being involved and deny any wrongdoing. In honor of Matcha, Zach and Avi ask Jake to make a donation in her honor to a children's charity. Matcha accepts the praise because he thinks it will help his reputation. Walker, who believes that Gold is enraged with Matcha's increased fame and his persistent postponement of the purchase, visits him later. Matcha begs for more time to complete the transaction, but Walker simply walks away after making an oblique threat. Jake receives a call from Avi telling him he is free of his ailment 3 days after learning that he has a terminal illness. When Jake visits his doctor again, the doctor informs him that the previous diagnosis was false. Jake has a rare blood disorder, but it is treatable and not fatal. The doctor expresses sincere regret for the error. Meanwhile, Matcha intensifies the contract against Jake since he now thinks Jake is the one plotting against him. His assassins follow him to Avi and Zach's home, but he manages to elude them. One of the hitmen is killed as he trips over his shotgun during the chase. The gangsters read too much into this mishap and think Jake killed him. On a rooftop, Jake encounters Avi and Zach and learns that they were his neighbors when he was imprisoned. They demonstrate that Sam Gold is an ineffective cipher whose sole source of power is those who finance him. He personifies ego and is the embodiment of greed. Jake is being persuaded by Avi to question his own lifetime commitment to his ego and to learn more about the nature of the ego. It is strongly indicated that Avi and Zach are nothing more than figments of Jake's imagination when the guys tell Jake that they have liberated him from Gold's game by taking away the material manifestation of his ego, his money. In another instance, Jake's brother Billy is tricked by his bodyguard into letting Sorter and Paul inside his house in order to pay off a debt to Matcha. In order to find Jake, Paul tortures Billy and threatens to take his daughter and burn him. Sorter is disturbed by the violent acts, which help him discover his conscience. Against his better judgment, he kills Paul and all of his friends in order to save the girl, eschewing his ego. In the movie, the girl is stolen after Sorter is killed by Matcha's final henchman. That evening, Jake enters Matcha's penthouse while he is armed. Unexpectedly, he kneels down in front of the bed and begs Matcha's pardon. When Jake gets in the elevator, it becomes stuck at floor 13. Matcha hurries to the bottom floor to meet Jake after grabbing his own handgun. Jake rejects his ego in a mental dialogue while he is waiting for the elevator. In doing this, Jake actively chooses to go against what his ego instructs him to do, so stepping off the proverbial chessboard. This is thought to be the formula's most accurate and fundamental application. Jake is ready to leave the building when the doors open, and Matcha grabs him by the gun. However, a composed Jake chooses not to be afraid of him. He abandons Matcha a sobbing, pitiful mess in the entryway of his penthouse because Jake has rejected the ego while Matcha has been perceived as being possessed by it, which has caused him to feel humiliated. This is the conclusion of the director's cut. When Jake learns of the niece's kidnapping in the movie's theatrical run, he resolves to return the money to the crime lords in order to save her. When Matcha shows up, he points a gun at Jake's niece, but Jake is unfazed. Matcha says, feeling ashamed, Jake can't kill him if he's already dead. Then, as the screen goes dark, he places the gun to his head and pulls the trigger. Thank you for watching and don't forget to like and subscribe.